Today, we have a double dose of leaders joining our lunch break. They're joining us from Values in Action, a nonprofit organization that empowers students and adults to build communities of kindness, caring, and respect through programs that teach, promote, and provide skills and tools that will enable individuals to make positive, values-based decisions every day. First, we will be welcoming Values in Action co-founder, president, and CEO, Stuart Muszynski, who has been a business and community leader in Greater Cleveland for more than 40 years. Also joining us today is the board chair for Values in Action, long-term healthcare executive Dr. Akram Boutros, who in 2024 founded Nexus Bedside, a healthcare innovation company built on a new model of hospital nursing care. And I might add, Dr. Boutros is also a proud member of the Leadership Cleveland class of 2015 and a past board member. In lieu of our more traditional introduction of our speakers today, we're going to begin our conversation with a short video. Mike, please play video.
Hi, I'm retired General Dave Petraeus, and I want to share a message in support of a nationwide initiative, the United States of Kindness, that will be launched as our country celebrates its 250th birthday in 2026. Now, I understand that supporting a movement promoting kindness might sound unexpected, coming from someone who commanded 2 wars and served as director of the CIA. But rest assured, this is not a deep fake. It's me, and I mean every word. In 2026, we'll mark 250 years since our Declaration of Independence. Over those 2.5 centuries, our country has faced extraordinary challenges. And during those times, one particular quality often animated and enabled us: kindness. Kindness is rooted in understanding and compassion. It's the simple but powerful idea that we should treat others the way we would like to be treated. It's based on a belief that most people want to do their best. I've seen kindness on display countless times, in peace and in war, in good times and in bad. Americans and our allies have often shown that even in the toughest moments, kindness can prevail. Now, I know that these reflections may sound unusual coming from a retired soldier. But over the decades, I've found that kindness actually works. In most situations, whether in business, government, academia, or the military, kindness helps build trust, foster collaboration, and get things done. That's why I'm supporting the United States of Kindness initiative. It builds on a remarkable regional effort begun over 3 decades ago in Cleveland by the Values in Action Foundation and its Kindland movement. That initiative has already made a meaningful impact in Northeast Ohio and beyond, including in over 5,000 schools, some in every state. Values in Action is now expanding its effort nationwide. And as we celebrate our country's 250th birthday, the initiative will encourage companies, educators, government officials, those in uniform, and citizens from all walks of life to make kindness a central part of how we treat one another, challenging groups and individuals to help celebrate our nation's 250th anniversary by participating in 250 acts of kindness and sharing their stories. Kindness can truly become one of our defining national traits. So yes, this message is coming from an old soldier who is asking you to consider the power of kindness to help ensure that our great country remains as caring and as civil as it can be. To learn more or to get involved, please visit usofkindness.org. Thank you very much.
Please join me in welcoming today's leaders for our lunch break, Stuart Muszynski and Dr. Akram Boutros. Gentlemen, I turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Becky. And hello, everyone. It's great to see many of our Kindland partners on this call. And I just want to defer at the outset to my friend and board chair, Dr. Akram Boutros, to get us started.
Great. Thanks, Stuart. I really appreciate it. So Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here. Let me start with something simple but uncomfortable. Kindness is not natural. It's a choice. It's a deliberate choice you make with every interaction and every decision. And most people, especially leaders, don't make that choice consistently. I say that as someone who experienced both sides of it. I've been the recipient of extraordinary kindness, the type that lifts you up, changes your direction, and stays with you. And I've experienced profound unkindness. Some may even say hatred, the type that lingers, divides, and if you're not careful, shapes how you respond to others. For a long time, I thought the answer was balance, fairness. And sometimes I would say I even thought maybe a little retribution. It's not. The only thing that actually works to combat unkindness is kindness. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said it plainly. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate can't drive out hate. Only love can do that. So that's not idealism, that's reality. Because when leaders respond to unkindness with more of it, they don't solve anything. They actually legitimize it. They give it permission to spread. Now, let's be honest about something. Kindness is hard. It's easy to be kind when it's deserved. It's easy when it's appreciated. The real test is when it's not. And here's where most people get it wrong. We keep score, we feel owed, we live for some form of payback. But the moment you do that, you've lost control of your leadership. See, kindness is not a transaction. It's much more a decision about who you are. And one of the most important lessons I've learned is that you should focus on the kindness you receive and let go of the need for retribution. Because retribution doesn't fix anything, it extends the problem. And maybe as importantly, if not more importantly, I learned something from the kindest and most wise person I know. And if you met her, you know that's true too, my wife, Suzanne. And she will always said, an act of kindness is no less meaningful, even when it's not received or appreciated. If your kindness depends on recognition, it's not leadership, it's negotiation. Now, why does this matter for this group? Because every one of you shapes culture. And culture is not built on strategy sessions. It's built during moments of pressure. How you respond, how you decide, how you treat people when it's inconvenient, that's where your real values show up. So here's my challenge for you. Don't just believe in kindness. Choose it. Choose it when it's hard. Choose it when it's unseen. And choose it when it's not returned. And please don't stop at yourself. Bring it into your organization, not as a slogan, but as a standard. Because when kindness becomes standard, not an exception, it stops being personal and becomes transformation. Thank you.
Thank you, Akram. Hello, everybody, and thanks for being on this call. Just piggybacking on what Akram said, I had a very interesting experience yesterday. At about 8:30 in the morning, I was on Wayne Dawson's morning show on Fox 8. At about 9:30, I got a very interesting email in my inbox. And the email said, "Stuart, you are such a hypocrite. I'm writing this because I am a tenant of your same office building. And you were going to the bathroom at one point in time, and you nearly bumped into me and didn't say I'm sorry." And he went on and on and on and on and on. So what did I do? I wrote him back an email and I said, "I am so sorry that you had that experience. And I apologize if I inadvertently disrespected you. I hope that we can do a reboot and that we could meet sometime in the building and I can get to know you." He, in turn, yesterday evening, wrote me back an email saying, "Nobody's perfect. Don't stress it. Yes, I'd love to meet you at some point in time. Just do better." So he was easing off the gas pedal, if you know what I mean. And the reason why that's so important, not only what Akram said, but in 1995, MIT did a study of how behavior changes. And they said behavior and culture doesn't change from politicians or from big companies. It changes person to person. They said that each of us will impact 4 new people every single day. Now, how do we impact them? Well, we could flip them off in traffic or we could let them go ahead of us. That creates a chain reaction. When we're at the cashier's line at Heinen's, Giant Eagle, or Dave's, we can say to the cashier, "Have a great day." And in turn, they will say to the next person, "Have a great day," and on and on and on. So over our lifetimes, we are each impacting, without even knowing it, subconsciously, 100,000 new people during our lifetimes. And MIT said if you're a doctor or you're a teacher, it's way above 100,000 people. So they in turn are impacting another 100,000 who impact another 100,000. And what MIT said is that we can impact them with kindness, or we can impact them with meanness, or we can impact them with apathy. In 32 years and 3 million students trained in all 50 states in more than 5,000 schools, we have seen kindness work incredibly in the school space. When we went into John Adams High School at the behest of Eric Gordon from 2017 through 2020 and implemented all of our kindness programming, the graduation rate over 3 years increased from 50% to 95%. Suspensions went down over 78%, and there were 0 fights in the school. So that is the impact. Deloitte did a study in one of their facilities, and they found that by implementing kindness and empathy as a core value, and I'm just looking at the stat here, that their HR incident claims went down approximately 25% and saved around $1,500 per employee annually in turnover and remediation costs. That was a study in 2023. So not only is kindness the right thing to do, there is an intrinsic ROI that stems from kindness in any kind of organization. Akram presented you with one challenge, and I'm going to present you with a second challenge. In 2026, we're initiating all over the country, but led by Cleveland and led by Ohio, the United States of Kindness, for all Americans to do 250 acts of kindness. I urge all of you to take this challenge. We are launching on April 24th because from April 25th through the end of the year, there are exactly 250 days. So if you do one act of kindness a day, however small, and the science of kindness shows us that even if you're opening a door for another person, it counts as kindness and it goes into your mind as kindness. It goes into the other person's mind as kindness. And the reason why this is so important is because it takes 5 negatives to offset 1 positive in the human mind. What do we get every day? Whether it's Cleveland or Washington, D.C., or Buffalo, New York, or Albuquerque, New Mexico, we are beset by negativity. Each of us has the power, by impacting those 100,000 people during our lifetimes, of creating a positivity, creating a reverse movement in our nation. And we hope that it can start with all of you in 2026. So please go on to usofkindness.org. You could see it takes about 1 minute to enroll, whether individually or whether an organization. You'll see that we have a lot of leadership from Cleveland, a lot of leadership from Ohio. David Yost is heading up our Ohio campaign, along with Steve Dakin, the head of the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce, and Jeff Wensing, the president of the Ohio Education Association. And he has asked every police and sheriff's department in the state to do the 250 acts of kindness. So we hope that this can be another leadership aspect that we're all in on in Cleveland. As we know, Cleveland has led the nation with many new initiatives. Ohio's led the nation with many new initiatives, and we hope that this can be one that all of you adopt. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Akram. So a few questions. Let's pick up right where you left off, Stuart. So what makes the 250th anniversary of the United States the right time to try to go national with this? And what are you doing to take what has been such a local championing of kindness and pushing it out on the national stage? How are you doing it?
Well, that's an excellent question. First of all, we have 5,000 some schools that are doing Kindland programming across the country. So we're pushing the United States of Kindness out to those 5,000 plus schools. So we automatically have a school movement that is underway. And they, in turn, are pushing the United States of Kindness out within their districts and within their communities. Now, this is in all 50 states that we have schools now. We have 1,146 schools in the state of Ohio. So we're asking those schools in the state of Ohio to take a special leadership role. We're asking the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce to take a special leadership role, and they are. The Ohio legislature now is in the process of passing a resolution endorsing the United States of Kindness and asking all Ohioans, in both houses they're doing this, to do the 250 acts of kindness. And the reason why we felt that 2026 is an opportunity year is because 2 things. Number one, it's our 250th birthday of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which established kindness, giving back, goodness as a core value in our nation. The second reason is that it seems to have captured the imagination. Whenever we have reached out across the country, even to major law firms, we pointed out, you're doing the 250 acts of kindness through pro bono work alone. Cliff McGarry and Mike Dowling are writing to all the hospitals around the country. They're doing the 250 acts of kindness. The problem is not that we're not doing the 250 acts of kindness. The problem is we are not amplifying those acts of kindness outward. We're keeping them to ourselves. All of our companies have, kudo boards and congratulations. We're doing this pro bono work. Congratulations. We have 400 volunteer hours or 4,000 volunteer hours, but it's not projected outward to the communities across the country. And so those 5 negatives weigh us down.
Yes, Stuart, let me just add 2 things. The amount of, and this goes to some of the questions. What makes it the right time is that the amount of incivility that has increased in our nation is getting worse and worse every day. So the time to act is now to counteract this. If you look at your news, I guarantee you, if you watch 30 minutes of news, you will maybe find one positive thing on the news. Every other minute is about something negative. And I think Carrie asked, how do you counteract prominent examples of unkindness? Let it go. Be kind yourself. Speak of kindness. Don't focus on the person that's being unkind. That is giving them attention and fodder. So I would just say to you is that be kind, counteract unkindness by you being kind. There's nothing you can do to change unkind people, but you can help people who are going about their lives to be more kind. If you focus on the unkindness, more unkindness is going to happen. If you focus on kindness, more kindness is going to happen.
And sometimes let me add that sometimes there's an opportunity to do kindness. There's a business leader in one of the large companies who was extraordinarily unkind to me, and I read that his father passed away. Well, I went to the wake, and he embraced me and he said, "Stuart, I will never forget that you were here for me." And ever since that time, we've had a fabulous relationship. So there are always opportunities to counter the negativity and to expend kindness.
Yeah, I think it's right, and you never know when it happens. When I was a third-year medical student, I took care of a young lady who was she was 14 years old, and she was petrified. Her parents weren't there. In 2013, when I came to Cleveland, she sent me an email. She said, "I don't know if you remember me, but I was one of your patients." She ended up saying three things. One, your kindness really impacted me. I actually became a doctor as a result of it. And she's the chief of trauma surgery at University of Pittsburgh. So in some way, her becoming a doctor and helping all of these people had this ripple effect. And the second thing she said is that I actually used the example of your kindness and contrasted to the intern who took care of me, who was completely unkind. And I've been teaching medical students about this. I had no idea that happened. It happened when I was a third-year medical student. So I think what Stuart is saying is right. Being kind has a ripple effect on the individual and others. And so is being unkind, by the way. So just figure it out. And I'm just going to recognize one of the kindest people I know, Sarah Spangler, who's here, and she says that we could be flooding the AI platform with kindness messages. We try, and we will continue to do that, Sarah. Thank you very much.
And by the way, we would love to jump on any of your social media with USK 250 hashtag, and just let us know.
So you made reference to the concept of taking this from being kindness as something that's personal to something that becomes a standard inside organizations and companies. Can you talk a little more specifically? What is your vision for what companies and organizations could do to make this a true standard inside their culture?
So the last large interview I did with Cranes, Cleveland, before I left Metro Health, the title was "Doing Good is Good Business." Okay, and that's really the idea. The idea is that you cannot start by counting what an act of kindness, how it will translate into monetary gains. You have to trust and believe that it actually will. And so I'll give you an example. During COVID, every major hospital in the country, because we weren't having as many patients come in, they started furloughing people and started reducing pay. We at Metro Health decided to actually ask our foundation for money so we can give every employee a 3% increase. Okay? And when we did that, we also made sure that nobody was furloughed, that everybody had their full-time job there. And we did that because we knew that they had spouses and other people in their family who were being furloughed. didn't understand how this was going to impact us at the end. But before I left Metro Health, the largest numbers of travel nurses at Metro were 12. Where at the Cleveland Clinic it was thousands, and at UH was thousands. And most people said that was because of how during that very difficult early days and where nobody knew what was going to happen to them, we actually came out and said, we're going to be kind. All right. We'll figure out where the money comes from. We'll do all of that stuff. Let's just assure you there are no furloughs, and let's assure you that you're going to get your 3% increase. So that's the calculus people need to make, is believe in doing the right thing will actually be good business.
And kindness, by the way, is not the short game, it's the long game.
Yeah. So speaking of the long game, are there ways that you're going to be able to measure the success of your movement? I mean, clearly the number of people who sign up and take the challenge to practice 250 acts of kindness is one measurement. Are there other indicators that you will look to determine whether this has been successful?
Yes, we have a whole team that's looking into the ROI of companies that engage in the U.S. of kindness. And in fact, at the end of the summer, we will be publishing our first ever with Forbes magazine, the Forbes Kindland George Mason University list of the 100 kindest companies in the nation. So there will be examples of what they've done. And this is based on 9 indices that George Mason's business schools put together for us. So it will be very tangible. We also are going to be amplifying the stories of kindness, to indicate the kindness is happening. Here's what Blank Rome is doing with their pro bono work. Here's what Jones Day is doing. Here's what University Hospitals is doing. University Hospitals has just been all over this. So they've been an incredible partner because they actually have implemented kindness and love as core values for all of their caregivers to be able to spread to their patients. And they got a $3 million grant from the Templeton Foundation in order to implement kindness and love in their entire ecosystem.
Becky, I want you to think about this. Forbes magazine, the business magazine, one of the top business magazines that has recognized that kindness is an attribute of a company. And that's what we're going to be publishing and talking about the 100 kindest companies.
Yeah, and in the information from Forbes, there's going to be an emphasis on how kindness is a strategy, not just a doing one thing. But to answer the question about what can a company do immediately, Coca-Cola did a study in one of their factories. They asked over a 1-week period of time every employee in the factory to do 1 act of kindness every day. Pro-social behavior increased 276 times. So if you're part of an organization and you ask your associates, your employees, let's, humor me. Let's do 1 act of kindness, however small or however large, every single day. You will see the culture change before your eyes.
Well, I have to say that I agree with both of you. I grew up in a household where kindness and generosity were taught to be muscles that you needed to flex and exercise on a regular basis. So just like anything else, it is about building muscle memory. So I'm going to invite the audience to join me in thanking both you, Stuart and Akram, for the conversation today and for taking this incredible commitment to kindness in Cleveland and across Ohio and pushing it out on the national platform. Congratulations and thank you for being a part of today's conversation.